Hello, kitty kitty. Oh, you nice kitty kitty. Thanks for coming back. You're such a nice kitty. Did you like those s'mores I gave you last time? Tuna and milk s'mores. That's so good. That's such a good s'more. You're such a bad kitty. Do you want to come inside? Well, like I told you last week, you can't because I am not getting in another relationship with a bad dude, okay? I've fallen for you guys before, and it's just, I don't know, it always leads to disappointment because I'm not your only catch. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I know you got a lot of like other kitties up and down the block that you're doing this, like, I'm all into you thing with. So, no thank you. You can stay right outside. I mean, I don't mind you coming by. You know, we can be friends, but that's part of my seductive kitty ASMR that I did in my last video. Now, some of you may have missed it because many of you were clicking away. Before you go, if you could please answer 1, why did you click on this video? Number 2, what did you expect from this video? And number 3, why are you clicking away? That would help me a lot. So thank you. Welcome to this. If you are here to learn how to start a podcast, and I think just by example, I'm showing you how it's done. I'm going to give you my top 10 movies of all time, top 10 movies. Ready? Here we go. The Godfather, 1 and 2. The Bourne Trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. Hunger Games, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that leaves us room for one more, and I'm going to say every Harry Potter movie. Best movie ever. Let me know if you agree. It's going to be one of my new segments, a top 10 list. So you see how things are evolving? I first got on here and just practiced, and now after 3 very successful episodes, I'm trying something new. I'm trying a segment. Okay, here's another segment I'm going to introduce, and that is tell a story. I'm going to tell a story about how I cut my finger. I don't know if you can see this, but it's very injured. I was cutting a lemon, which is not a super high cooking skill. It's up there, but it's not, like souffle. I was cutting the lemon, and that went fine. I was using a knife. That's my optimal recommendation when you're cutting a lemon. So I cut the lemon, no problem there, and then I wanted to squeeze some of the lemon juice out. That's one of the more popular uses of a lemon. But then there's this French technique where you take a fork and you stick it in the lemon, and then you squeeze it, and the fork helps get out some of the juice. Like I said, it's French technique. You might not have heard of it before. Anyway, I did that, but instead of using a fork, I don't know what I was thinking. I said, I'll just use this knife. Because when you're highly skilled like me at many things, sometimes you skip steps. And I'm just going to say, I don't recommend it. I don't recommend skipping steps. What I did was I used that same knife that I had used to cut the lemon, and then holding the lemon in my hand like that, I stuck the knife in. It should have worked, but the rind was much thinner than I had noticed, and the knife went in, and boy, did it squeeze some blood out of my finger. I don't know if you can see that, but the whole thing is bruised and swollen now. In this very dramatic moment, I felt like I stayed pretty cool. I said, I'm bleeding, and then I went to the sink to rinse it. I don't know if that's what you're supposed to do. And then my fiance said, what do you want me to do? Do we need to go to urgent care? And I said, no, I just need to squeeze it. I'm not a doctor, but I've seen this in movies where if you have a wound, you want to stop the bleeding. You can press on it. You could tie a tourniquet. I just pressed on it and it coagulated, I was really pleased because I do drink a lot of wine. And if it hadn't coagulated, I would have been like, okay, I think that's a sign I have to cut down. But the fact that it coagulated, I'm like, okay, I must be doing fine. That's my story with a lesson, giving some advice, which is don't do that. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if we ever get back, 'cause it's root, root, root for the home team. It's a shame, for it's 1, 2. You may have noticed that a lot of organ players are gone from ball games, and I think it was an expense thing. I sort of feel like we could bring them back and be like, look, we can't afford the organ, but if you can play the kazoo. I feel like this episode has some problems. Now, I know I've said that about every episode, but only in retrospect. I think I jammed it. So we're going to wrap up this episode. And remember, when you're creating something, value is important, but not as important as consistency. And so I feel like I'm doing that. I feel like I'm being consistent. Consistently bad? Maybe that's what I'm good at. We just have to be consistent, and excellence comes after consistency. A lot of people think that you start with excellence and then you get consistent, and that's why people don't start things. But actually, you start with consistency, and then from consistency comes excellence. And I think that probably you can see how this is becoming an excellent podcast. Maybe I should call this my excellent podcast. Now, my guess is that's already taken. Somebody started something and then they didn't keep doing it. I think I need a stage name like John Legend, because you give yourself a name and then all of a sudden people are like, John Legend, that sounds like a legend. It is, it's John Legend, but he just gave himself that name, you know. Hey Kitty, let me ask you something. What makes you fall for a girl? Is it her personality, or the way she does her hair, or what she feeds you, or like how much, you get? I'm just curious because I'm working on this podcast, you see, Kitty, and I'm trying to figure out where to go with it. You see a lot, you know a lot. You're an alley cat. I mean, podcasting can't be any harder than being an alley cat. That's tough stuff. Anyway, if you have any suggestions, alley cat, please leave them in the comments, because you're such a